So she can view it on a recording because I got everybody else who wants to see it that couldn't make it today too.
Okay.
Okay, so let us first just start with the fact that I signed in already, but you guys know how to sign in already? Have you all been onto the pipeline yet?
No.
Yes.
Okay, Art, that was you, right?
Art, no. Art, no.
Okay, so
Stephen, yes.
when you go to the future, you just go to the website, and you're going to just you can use this link, but you can also just use www.paperlesspipeline.com. Mm-hmm. But it's on that link on the email. You don't need to do it right now. I'm just telling you, you can sign on. When you sign on, you have a temporary password that's in your email. It'll prompt you to choose your own when you sign on. The first thing it does. So you take and click on that and choose a password that you're going to remember, but if you don't, you can email me and I can change it for you at any time.
Okay, right. Talking to me, Bonnie?
Yes, sir?
Were you talking to Art?
Yes, to anyone who hasn't signed on yet. 188.
Okay, so you just click on the link that's on your email.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But you don't need to do it right this minute. I'm just telling you how to do it in the future.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, so in the future, as soon as we sign off, you can go ahead and sign in your own, and you'll be able to do that. Okay. Witty's joined us. Okay. Now, when you first sign on, this is the screen you're going to see. It's going to have your open transactions, which if you've put in a new listing or a pending contract, it will show here, and it'll give you a total number. You click on it, it'll give you a list of all the properties that you currently have listed, as well as at the bottom, it'll have the ones that, sorry, let me move this out of the way. It'll have the ones at the bottom that are pending. So you have pending contracts. This is the address that I have put in for the different listings. You can identify it, a transaction folder, however you choose to do so. I would prefer the address, but some of these, of course, don't have addresses, so we have put in assessor's numbers or the last name of a client with another defining factor for it. And then when you take and open a folder, which I'll show you in a second, you would also be putting in an MLS number. Whatever you title the transaction folder, it needs to be something that you can search for later if you don't find it, or I can search for and find. So don't use Joe Smith's Crab Shack. All right, so this is his list of transactions. It tells us that it's a land listing or a residential listing. It also tells us the status of the actual listings, what they have, what they're pending, and so forth.
Hold on, Bonnie.
Yes.
This is Stephen.
Yes.
My screen is still sitting at the dashboard.
Yeah, same here.
Me too.
Why?
Mine too.
I hate this.
What do you do from the dashboard?
I have no idea. Oh, it says it's paused. Here we go. Sorry. Thank you, Stephen.
There it is.
It paused evidently because I was taking too long talking to other people beforehand. Now you see the transaction screen?
Yeah, she's in you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go back a second so you can see the beginning screen. For those, so you know when you sign on, this is what you will see. This is what I was talking about. The dashboard is what you sign on, you see. You have open transactions in the middle. That's your current listings and pendings. Open tasks, that's file needs reports that have been attached to your actual transaction folder. So that's saying that you have these to do, which, yes, because Bonnie has not done Witty's files, there's a lot on there. Normally, you're only going to have a couple. And then it says docs to upload. If you were going to add a brand new folder, you would click on this, add a transaction. If you wanted to upload docs to one of your folders, you can click on this. And assigning documents means a document that you've taken and uploaded to the general working file that you could take and assign to a transaction. There's also all kinds of helps. They have little mini videos for every little part of it, so you can take and click on those to learn more about them. If you don't have any questions or something that I don't get back to you quick enough on, you can do that. Okay, then you have over on the left, the same type of links are over here. Oh, I'm signed in. It tells you that you can email me here, and you can get hopefully a quick answer. And then it has your info. First off, we're going to do is we're going to go in and look at real quick what your info says, because you need to go in there and make sure it has your correct email address. This is where if you want to change your password in the future, you can change it to something else. Your contact information, yeah, it's already in there. Your contact information will be your phone number, your fax number if you want that to be on there. If you want to get daily updates, it tells you here you can take and elect to not have them. And sorry, I can't see the whole screen, just a second. And then at the bottom, you have here automatically adjust, I'm sorry, beneath that, the email signature. You can take and put that in there for when you send in an email. It'll automatically put in your name and company name and phone number, so whatever you want to type in that. I have filled in Woody's information for him. On the very bottom, there is a way to connect directly to your DocuSign account, if you have one. You can click on this box. When you click on it, sorry, it says mine's already done. It's not going to let me do it. It should be blank for you. You can take and sign in to DocuSign right there on that link, and it will take and actually add the link available to you so you can have your DocuSign documents come right to it.
Question, Bonnie.
Yes, John.
What happens if you use the AAR signature program?
So far, it doesn't have a link to that yet.
Okay.
They're working on making one. Right now, they've connected to DocuSign because most of the country has that.
Well,
That's
I
why.
have it too, but
Yeah.
some people don't.
Yeah,
have
I don't. So you can take and actually, they're working on doing a link for the individual ones, but this one's available right now.
All right.
It's a constant update and progress on this program, which is why I like it, because it's always trying to improve. So if we see something we want to change, we can ask them, and sometimes they can upgrade and do a different change that makes it easier for all of us to use. Okay, so that's how you take and update your personal information. Okay, sign out of that. Go back to the pipeline, the dashboard, sorry. And here you have your open transaction. Let's add a transaction so you can see what a folder actually looks like when you're adding one. The top line is locations. These have a drop-down menu. You can choose to put in, oh, sorry, Woody's only on Dominion Group properties. You should be, like Stephen, for example, would be Bisontown. It will take and actually pull up your company name by default, of your branch, I should say, sorry. Transaction name, here's where you would type in your actual transactions you're giving the name for. This happens to be 123 Main Street, what we're going to call it. The MLS number, that's another way to search, so we want to use this. 123456, okay. The status, it's a listing, it's pending. It's a rental over 30 days, very important for those who have short-term rentals because we have to have different Department of Real Estate requirements for those. So please check the right box for that. Rentals, by the way, are still a listing. Everybody assumes that they're going to have their own designation. It's a listing. It doesn't matter if it's a rental or not, except for here. Okay, so when you go to pinned it and everything else, it's going to have the same designation as a rental contract or a land contract. For now, as a listing, it's a regular listing for residential and land is here. A rental over 30 days, you would choose this, or a rental vacation, which is under 30 days, would be there. Okay, if you're putting in a contract, obviously it's pending. So we're going to put in a listing for this one. Labels, I'm not quite really worried about this too much yet. We're still working on it. You can take and call it whatever you want, but I'm putting in some more labels. But for now, it has a few of them on there. If it was a pending, you would have a close of escrow date. More info. Okay, sorry, I closed it. Nope, wrong one. You don't need that one. Automatic. If you're doing a listing, you want to put in your listing expiration date because this program will remind you when it's due to expire. It'll give you like, I think it's a 30-day and then a 2-week and then like a 5-day. So in case you happen to forget to talk to your seller about renewing your listing, you could do it here. If you don't put in the right date, it's going to take and give you reminders for something that's like next week. So we'll put in like May 14th. Acceptance date would be for a contract. And of course the buyer's name doesn't apply. The seller's name, John Smith. The list price, You want to put in whatever it is listed for today. It'll do your commas for you. Sales price is if you have a contracted price for less. The total commission, we only care about our side. So 3%, 2%, you can do whatever you want. You can do dollar amount. It's easy, whatever you want to do. I prefer the dollar amount because it's easier for us to keep our bookkeeping. Okay.
So Bonnie, this is Stephen.
Yes, Stephen.
I put in the total commission. So you want me to go back and modify all those?
If you get a chance, it doesn't have to be because I can change them as I come up on them when I'm taking and doing the month-end reports. I can take and change them. So.
Well, what if we've got a situation where we do a 6% commission and then we do a 5% if it's dual agency? How do you want that reported?
You would want to report it when you'd actually get the contract is when you would change the commission.
Change it at that point. Okay,
right.
Gotcha.
Because if you get a contract, if it's dual commission, you're going to put in the lesser amount, of course.
Okay, gotcha.
Basically, that's just it's not a final until we do the HUD. That's when I care about what that amount says. Because that's going to be in my month-end reports, and I have to take and look at that and say, oh, no, it says we're getting $2,000, but we agreed to pay for something, and we're only getting actually $15,000. Okay? So that's, I will balance it out. So I will look at the HUD, and I'll change it if I need to at that time.
Makes sense.
Now, you're actually on here. All of you already pre-done on here as agents. So for now, we're in Witty's. So Witty's obviously the listing agent. But you can take, and maybe you're a co-lister. So you put 2 agents on here, that's fine. When you scroll up here, you'll see that they're over here on the right. Okay? It tells you, by the way, when you scroll over something, it gives these nice little help things. Listing agents can view all the listing, sale, and public documents. If you have a buyer's agent, when you're doing a pending, you can put in a buyer's agent information where, I'll go back to that in a second, it's at the bottom. And then you can actually have them only be able to view the contract, for example. It'll only be able to view the listing agent's information. So like if you have an outside agent, this is David Smith, and he's with John Hall. Okay, his email is David, whatever, and you put that in there at gmail.com. Okay, doesn't really matter. This is just for our information. If there's 2, oh, I'm sorry, I did the wrong one. It's supposed to be, this is your, because right now we already have a listing. Anyways, when you take and put him in here, now you can take and it will actually tell you, enter the selling agent here if he or she is from a different company. The outside agent will not have access to this transaction unless you tell them that you can send them like documents and so forth. Okay, it's not going to give them a link to be able to look at this files. You click Add Transactions, and now the file is here. This is what it looks like. You may have gotten some emails from me. I've been taking and starting to send those to you. It will take and tell you on the email that thank you, your transaction's complete, your file needs checklist is attached with the updated information. You'll get different notes like that from me. This is where, and you will see them on the screen down here. You can add another person to the file, another agent here. You can upload docs. This is actually really easy to do. You can click on here to upload something from your computer. See if I find something on here. Oh, Circle Mountain, here's a good one. Here's a contract. Inspection. Okay, so I click on that. I want to do both, as a matter of fact. I can highlight both. You can highlight 10 documents if you want. It doesn't matter. And you say open, and it puts them there. You can also drag them. That's what the other thing is here. If you're familiar with computers, don't do this if you're not used to doing drags or anything else. This is the easiest way is to click to upload. But for somebody who takes and already has a folder listed, you can take and add that. So to drag files, I have to look at another folder, sorry. Hello, Bonnie, wake up. That's not what I wanted. I keep moving around the little GoToMeeting thing. I'll show you that later. It doesn't matter. Anyways, drag files here or click to upload. It's easier just to click to upload. I'll show you later if you want to see how to drag them. Obviously, you click and just drag them over from a file checklist. Here you have categories. It has on here listing, sale, public or private. If it's something that you don't want anyone else to see, like you're sharing this with 3 other agents in the office, you would put it private. Otherwise, it should always be either a listing or a sale. Okay, so this is a listing, and this is a listing. Though these documents I know pertain to a sale. But here, on the other part, doc name, you can take and choose anything that's already preloaded as a name. You can select one of these, or you can type in your own. And that'll be what it would be saved under. It's easier for me if you take, and if you're not assigning them, to name them by the property address and what it is. But if it's already, you're putting it in the folder yourself, you can name it inspection. You can name it whatever you want, as long as it's something that pertains to that particular document, because I have to open it, and if it doesn't apply to what's in that actual name, I'm going to take and rename it. So, all right, you named them, inspection report. This one you left alone, you just change the name a little bit. It won't let you do duplicates. So if you already have an inspection report in here, you have to take and name that again, because actually what it will do, let me show you on the other one, sorry. It won't even let you choose this, which is kind of funny. You've already chosen inspection. So now it's grayed out because you can't choose it twice. So, but you can take and name this inspection 2. Oops. If you wanted to, for some reason, have it in here twice because there's 2 different things that are similar in types, and yes, I spelled inspection incorrectly, you can take and do a different name, just add a number to it because it's 2 parts. But I'm saying you can type in something, but if it doesn't seem like it's available to you to choose for the preloaded names, it's grayed out, it's because you already have it selected for another document in that folder. Does that make sense? You click upload, and then it will, depending on your speed of your particular computer bandwidth, it'll upload it. Ours isn't too bad. When it's done uploading, it takes you to the transaction folder for that file again.
So Bonnie, question, this is Stephen.
Yes.
If you have 2 agents, a co-listing agent as well, do both agents have access to, one agent's obviously going to load these files in, but both agents have access to
Yes.
the folder?
As long as their names are on the folder. If you put 3 agents on here, it'll be on here. I have access because I'm the admin, but otherwise, like Woody can't see your file, Stephen, and Woody can't see yours. So it works both ways. But if you added John to it, he would be able to see your file. One second. Okay. So that would be, no one's going to see your folder except for me unless they have your permission to do so.
I gotcha.
Okay. All right, so those folders are those files are both here.
Bless you.
Okay. Yes, that's Catherine. Sorry. Bless you, Catherine. You can take and upload more documents now. You can do that. You could send something to DocuSign because this link is only available on here if you've added your DocuSign to your profile. Otherwise, that particular button's not on here. So send a DocuSign for something that you actually needed to have signed. You could do it there. You can add another agent. These are merged documents. They're kind of like if you have a contract that falls apart and it's canceled, you don't want to, this file, if it's your listing, is not going to be canceled. What we're going to do is you can do it, you can ask me to do it. We merge the documents into one folder again, and we leave it on here and say that that is canceled file for Smith. And that's how it's labeled in here because we have to keep it in here. But you don't want to take and see those 15, 20 documents from that contract in your regular feed of list of files on this one. Okay. Does that make sense on how to do to add a new transaction folder?
Yeah, this is Stephen again. Okay, going back to the merged documents. So if I've got a listing, we get an offer on it, the offer gets canceled, the property goes back on the market. That's what we use the merged documents for? We merge all the documents for the canceled one? When you click on it, it brings up, give it a name. You can name it whatever you want. This is canceled file for Smith. I'm not worrying about my spelling. Don't be English teachers.
And then we're going to take, when you click on this little this drop-down menu, it has all the files. If there's 15 in here, it would have all the different files that you've uploaded into here for that particular listing, contract, whatever. So you can take and click that one, then you can click this one, and then when you're done, oh, also, by the way, yes, you want to delete them because it's going to put them all in one big folder. You want to delete the individuals, otherwise they're still going to be on there. So you click this box to delete those and say Merge Docs. I do this when you guys send me a great big listing kit package. I split docs. You guys don't need to do that. I split them. Okay. That's why you see all of a sudden you had one folder for your listing documents, and all of a sudden now there's 12 different documents. I split them apart. The same process, only reversed. Okay, so now you have a folder here. It says list the canceled for Smith, and you can go over here to your far right. There's a little bitty, what's that thing called? Circle, whatever. Over here, you can take and you can edit the doc. And if you don't want to see it on your actual place anymore where you see all your other listing documents, if it's going to work, you can take and make this invisible, private, okay? So then it'll move it to a different place.
Okay.
See, now you have private docs. Okay, and your listing documents would be another little tab right here beneath it. One more thing I want to show you up here at the top, where it just highlighted here, it says send email messages and docs to this address. This email address is for this, only this transaction folder. What you want to do is you want to add this to your email account as an email address. And every time you're taking and sending a document or getting a document back, you can copy it to here. It will automatically put it into your file online and upload the document. You will have at the bottom, you'll have the actual transaction history will show an email, but the document will be done. Let me show you one that actually is in here. Sorry. It actually makes it very simple for you. You just have to remember to add the email address. Okay, let's go here. Which, by the way, if you notice, now I have 18 listings in here because I added that one. Okay, so let's go to 10th Street here. Okay, this particular one, you have emails. I sent an email to that address. It actually took the First American Title transaction, the actual title commitment, and put it in here for me. I didn't have to do anything. It took the letter that came with it also in here because it was a separate document. So it automatically will upload those. So you don't have to do those if you don't have to take and do them a second time. Let the emails do the work for you. The only thing you might have to do is you might have to go in and rename it. If it was like a lot of these title commitment letters, for example, will come in with like an escrow receipt, will come with just their escrow number. So to ID it better for you, you would go over here on the right to that little circle. It's going to let me do it. It's not going to let me do it. Why? Sorry. I was saying normally you can rename it. I will figure out why that doesn't work right now. Later, we'll do that one. But anyways, this is how you take and see a folder that's already been worked on. This is, Stephen, you have one that has quite a few files in there. And the original email address I gave you for uploading documents was to the admin working file folder. And so all those documents that you originally were sending, you guys couldn't see it, and I forgot about that. You were taking and sending them to that email address. Well, then you can't see my admin working documents. When you were taking, saying where the documents go, they were in mine. But I didn't upload them in there. When you click on the working document on your particular sign-on, when you've signed on, it'll have anything in there that you are waiting to be assigned. So if you take and you just sent those to the file and it didn't find a place to put it, it would put it in here, and then it will take, when you sign on to that transaction, you would just, like we just were on for 10th Street, it'll have a reminder pop up for you telling you that you have a transaction to a document to assign to this particular transaction. Whoops. Sorry.
Okay. Stephen, again, I got a question on that email address, the unique email address per each transaction. Okay, so the title company emails us the title commitment. If we forward that email using that unique email address, it will automatically put the title commitment into the folder.
That's exactly what it did for me right here on that one. All I did was forward the email I got from Title, First American Title. That's all I did. And it took and automatically put the document in there for me and saved the email, which is a great thing to have. Use this for your own risk management. Every time you send an email back and forth to clients that are on a file, your seller, or when you're taking and doing a buyer or the other agent, copy this particular email address for your folder. That way, it keeps track of all those emails and puts them in here. So in the future, you're protected if something happens to your email account and you lose it or something like this. All of those emails are loaded on here.
Okay, perfect.
So it saves it for risk management. I don't think you can do text messaging yet, regretfully, but you can do emails. So it's just another step to protect yourself in the future for anything that pops up. Okay, so this particular address, you see that, so I could take and add that to my actual transaction folder. I could take and do that. Hello, sorry, this is taking, I can't get back out of here. Back, it won't let me. My button's covered up to go back, sorry.
All right. Question. Where
Yes,
would
John.
you see the email history at?
At the bottom, what I was showing you. Sorry, go back.
Sorry.
It's okay. That's the only way to, if you didn't see it, then I got to go back and show it to make sure you see it. Because I have to change, I was in this folder to show you something else anyways. At the very bottom is your emails. See? My note to you, telling you that the admin's note to you, it's emailed to, from me, it has my name on it. It says that this is incomplete tasks were included, and that's in here. And then your emails will go on here. Any other notes that you add over time, you'll have quite a few on here. It will take, and you have to click on that and open them up. Okay? You can also add your own notes. What a great idea. You just talked to someone on the phone. They've told you that they're agreeing to do this X, Y, Z, you know, whatever they're telling you. I am going to order the septic tomorrow. Okay. That's also for your other agent on the transaction. You could send that note to her. You can do it through here. You can also follow up by documenting whatever you talked on the phone or in person. So it's saved on here, and copy their email address to the client here. So that way they're notified. We had our phone conversation. Just want to follow up and confirm what we talked about on the phone. So you can use this for more things than just the simple document storage, which is great. Okay, you can also, so always keep making your own notes on here. See, now that we've taken in this particular folder, I didn't change it because I wanted to show you this. Edit transaction on the left-hand side brings back up the original folder list. This particular one is now pending. So it's no longer a listing, it's now a pending. So you check on that and change it. I've already put in the close of escrow date, but there it is on there. Don't worry about this box. Don't ever check it. You don't need to worry about it. It automatically puts everything in our backups. So these notes here are what Bonnie puts in that tells me my logbook for the broker. So acceptance date, the contract was accepted on January 5th, whatever. Anyways, way back here. Okay, the buyer's name, Joe, what's his last name? R-E-N-N-A? Yeah, Renna. Okay, that's the buyer's name. Here's the seller. The list price is $189. We sold it for $185. Woody and I are both on this. We've assigned agents to each side. We don't have an outside agent on this particular one. Okay. And you save it. And Stephen, I forgot that the commission shouldn't show it on there, and I missed that. I don't think I put the commission in. So when it's done loading, I'll go back.
Bad, Bonnie.
I know.
Bad.
Ignore John in the background, okay? Well, I can go fix that later. Okay, the other thing is also now that we have a contract, I need to add a checklist, which I already did on this one. This button right here, add a checklist. When you first do a listing, if you're putting in documents, the checklist will automatically pop up for a listing most of the time. It's tagged that way, but it doesn't always seem to be working, so I have to still work on tweaking that. But you have to add one for a contract. So you find on the checklist, there's a whole list of different ones. You already have a listing, so you're going to add a purchase contract with a co-op agent, which means also it's going to be any other agent, obviously. So you would take and click on that to add it. To delete it, if by chance you put the wrong one on, when you take and put your name on that thing, you can take and delete it. Oh, actually, it won't let you. I take that back, John. We were talking earlier about adding the checklist. Bonnie has to delete the checklist for you, so let me know on that one. But anyways, you added a checklist for that particular one. It has the one on top will be the most current checklist that you're doing. So we added a contract, so that's the one on top. Your listing checklist is still at the bottom. Yes, a lot of things are on here that don't apply to your file. That's okay. Only worry about the ones that you know do. I will go through as I'm taking and reviewing them for the broker file. I will delete the ones that don't apply. So, for example, affidavit of disclosure is on here because we have a lot of rural properties. If it doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it. If you still see it 2 weeks later and you want to get it off of there because it bothers you, just shoot me an email and I will delete it. It has on here all the different things that are on here. You can't check these boxes because that is how Bonnie has to take and review for the broker. So they're on here as just being needs. When you've taken and done something and I've checked it off, this is where it shows at the very bottom all the stuff that you've already completed. So you can see that those things have already been checked off as being complete. Bonnie's reviewed them, and she doesn't have any problems with them. It says on here, too, that on the residential listing checklist, you have still 2 items that are not complete. This is a required document, so it has it as 1 of 26. The affidavit of disclosure is a when applicable because it only applies if that's a rural property. So that's a particular one. That's why the numbers aren't matching all the time on those. So the checklists are for you to give reminders, and automatically it will take and send you different notes and tell you what's going on with the list. Somebody signed on? Hello? I heard somebody.
Yeah, this is Art. I got cut off, so I had to re-sign on.
Okay. Well, it's okay. It's recorded, so we can also, if you miss something, you can always take and go back and view it. So
Sorry about that, Bonnie.
it's okay. Let's see here. Oh, another thing, just to tell you what it is. This particular checklist item is just so you know that your checklist on your listing is complete. So I would check that box to let you know that your listing checklist is already complete. Now we're working on the checklist for the contract only. So, no, Bonnie's not checked the box. I just added it, John. Peanut gallery over here. Anything else on the checklist? Questions? John, by the way, you missed. I told you that, yes, you were right. You can't delete it. I have to delete it. Okay. I think that covers checklists. Let's see here. Your tasks. Now, this one is not realistic because I put in all Woody's listings, but I have not done all the checklists and updated them all. So it shows a lot of things. So yours should be like a much smaller list when you look on for yourself. If you don't have any tasks coming yet, that's just because I haven't finished your files, which they'll be done this weekend. So they will all be done by the end of this week. But here it says on here, here's the folders. You can search this by items, by the way. What? I'm getting these two over here making comments behind me on another computer. Ignore them. Anyways, you can search over here by your transaction itself, the name of the transaction, or you can search by the checklist type, or you can search by tasks or by date of due. Oh, let's talk about the due dates. These are little reminders for you that if they don't match with what you think they should have, let me know. I put in here what I think they are. For example, when you put in a contract and you put in the actual upload of the document and you attach a checklist, it's going to take and start prompting you, reminding you that, hey, I need the contract. 4 days, 5 days later, it will say, I need the spuds. It'll remind you that on a new listing that you need the lockbox. Just reminders. And also the sign, have you ordered the sign, which most of us, I think, have ordered all this before we ever take and put it on the pipeline. But still, this is a nice little reminder. It tells you that you still need the MLS Plano printout and lead-based paint disclosure. It's set in for a time stamp. So when you take and say that your contract was accepted on January 1st, it's going to start sending you little reminders telling you, if you don't have the contract in, for example, that the contract is still needed. Don't forget you need the actual agency disclosure and the SPUDs. Anything that's got a time-sensitive time to it, it's supposed to help remind you to get this document. So, for example, the SPUDs, I did it 5 days after contract acceptance. So these are just different little reminders to help you. If you don't want to see those, you can check on your profile settings to not see the reminders. But that's what these dates are for, the due dates. Any questions? No? Okay. So you know how to add a transaction. You know how to add a checklist. And you know that this working folder on the top will be where your documents may show if when you're emailing them in, if it doesn't take and actually have, because see, this is a generic one. This is the one that I gave you all for me, which I didn't realize it was mine only. This particular email address, if you wanted to save that for yourself, for a file that you're going to put a listing on or you're going to add a contract on, you could send it to this, and it's your personal working doc folder. This is where they will be stored until you're ready to make a transaction folder. And then you can take and just switch it over to there. You would assign the documents. At any time, you can take and send them to me, and I can upload these if you're having issues or something. Please don't ever think that you have to do this all by yourself, because I'm trying to help everyone do this so we can all take and make our lives easier in the long run. Right now, it's kind of confusing because it's all different. But when you get this all organized and get set up on a routine, you'll find this will save you hours and hours of time, which is the whole goal. And plus, it will take and give you risk management for future issues. Because now, when this folder's done, when you've closed it, you're going to have a closed file that you can then take and have emailed to yourself and store it for yourself, or it's stored on here, and you can access it anytime you need to for the next 5 years. So that's a nice convenience. Even if you went to go work for Joe Smith, doesn't matter, you still can have access to the closed files. Any questions on anyone? I gave you a lot all at once, I'm sorry. Okay, so go play with it. Have a good time playing around with it. Come up with any other questions, email me, because as you're starting to do something, you may find something doesn't make sense. Go view the videos that come up when you first sign on and tells you different helpful tools. And it's a great little way to learn different things because it walks you through what I was just going through in mass quantities for an individual thing, like opening a new transaction folder. Okay, guys, thank you very much. This will be recorded, and you can go back and watch it later. And we'll be doing Tuesday. We're going to do this again for the HOA addendum that has a lot of changes on it. We want to make sure everybody understands it totally. Have a good day.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Bonnie, what time are we doing this Tuesday?
11?
Thank you.
Thank you, Art. I think 11 is what I put on there. And
Ooh, I've got a meeting on Tuesday morning already.
Okay, well, it can be recorded, and you can view it anytime. If nobody...
Okay, the fact that you've recorded this, do you email the recording to us, or how do we get the access to the recording?
I think I can. If not, I think you go to GoToMeeting and just access the recording from that. I'm not sure yet. I'll find out.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, how do you sign?
Thank you, Bonnie.
You're
Have a good
welcome.
day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. In for all. Yes.